Hi everyone, today I'll show you how to use multiple colors or layers using Cricut's Infusible Ink transfer sheets to then place on a mug that will go in the Cricut Mug Press. Go ahead and click on New Project. And the first thing I'm going to do is search for a mug template that I know that I like, the size reference. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Image, and then in here I'm going to type in Mugs. And then I'm going to go to Project Type and put in Large Mug Press Designs. There it is. So this is basically perfectly sized template to work with. I've used this design and it's lovely. I've put in a design and then sliced it out of this image and then used it for mugs, and they turned out really cute. But all I'm using it for today is just a reference to see what size my rainbows will be. So I'm going to go ahead and click Upload. Go ahead and grab your free designs from my blog from the resource library. Click on Upload Image and then just simply drag your image. I'm using the SVG file. When it turns green, you can let go. Click Upload. Click on the design, click Insert Image. When they come in, they're automatically grouped together. You just want to click Ungroup. And basically, we're just going to put the design over here, and I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. That looks really good to me. So I want to make this one the same size. This is 3.531. I'm going to click on this and go 3.531. And now they will be the same size. And that's all we need the template for. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that template off because we don't need it. And these files are ready to be cut. Go ahead and click on Make It. And since these are Infusible Ink, you want to make sure you mirror each mat. I'm going to move this over just a little bit so I have some more wiggle room there. That's just a personal preference. I don't like my files so close together. Mirror. And then move this one over just a little bit and mirror this one. We'll go back to the top and we'll click on Continue. I'm going to select Infusible Ink Transfer Sheet. If you don't have it here, you want to click on Browse All Materials. Default pressure is fine. All I'll need is my fine point blade, and I'll meet you over at the maker. Okay, so the first color I'm going to load is my gray, and then I just use my brayer to smooth that on. I'm using my standard grit mat. We're going to go ahead and load the mat and press go. I'll be doing the same process for all three colors. So here's my other two colors that I'll be using. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to end up with one transfer. So we'll be putting the colors in between. So what we're going to do is start off with our big red and our big blue, right? Because one rainbow started with the blue and one rainbow started with the red at top. We'll remove everything that we're not going to be using. That way we can put the opposite color right on top of it and just transfer one design directly onto the mug. So that's how you want to do a multicolor SVG with an Infusible Ink mug. It takes a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it because the end result is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to kind of speed through this, but just so that you kind of get the gist of it, on the biggest piece, you start with the bottom layer, which is the biggest piece, which is this part of the rainbow right here, okay? So we want to keep this red part on this transfer paper, but we want to remove, and we want to keep this one here, but we're going to remove all of this ink and this ink so that we can put our blue pieces in its place. I hope that makes sense. So basically, I'm just going to kind of round it, kind of Infusible ink is a little bit different. The transfer sheets just want to kind of loosen the design, and then you can kind of pick out the color. So I'm going to start at the edge here and just kind of break apart that one edge. And then that way I can just come through and remove all the parts that I don't want on there. I want to actually see for a second. Okay, so I'm going to trim away a little bit of this so I can save some of this ink. I want some of the tape on there, so that's why I'm not removing it all the way at the bottom. But this is definitely something that I can use, so I'll save it with my scraps. Okay, so this is the the basic part of this one. And then what I'm going to do is get this one started just like this one is, and then we'll put the pieces in. So same process. Okay, now I want to remember to remove these little stars here. And you can actually save these stars, put them in a little baggie or something, and use them on a different project. Be really cute around the neckline of a shirt or on a pocket or something like that. Or a little baby bodysuit or a onesie. So for these, we're going to be taking the rainbow part out and then sticking it onto the rainbow that it goes on. Same thing with this one here. And then on these, we'll be placing each individual heart and then placing the star in the middle. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this. Because it could get quite boring for you, and we don't want that. So let me go ahead, and I'm actually going to start with the star on both of these. So I'm just basically gently taking the star out of here, and I'm just going to simply line this up how I want it. And it's going to stick right onto our tape. And if you need to, grab a pair of tweezers that might help placing the hearts in the right locations, because unfortunately there's no way to keep those grouped together. And so you'll just be placing each little individual heart where you'd like them to go. And if sometimes it helps to get a pair of tweezers that have like a pointy end or angled end on them as well. Okay, so I'll just be doing this in the background and I'll be fast forwarding it. Okay, so here are the beautiful designs. And you notice I wasn't worried about the hearts being perfect. I actually had fun designing this file because I like to be perfect in my shapes and things when I'm designing a file, especially that I'm giving to people for free. And I wanted this design to be perfectly imperfect, and it was a great test for me. It was a struggle, but I had fun doing it. And so I want you to feel comfortable placing the hearts. If one's a little crooked, that's okay because this is meant to be a perfectly imperfect rainbow. Okay, so these are ready to stick to our mug. So we need to heat up my mug press, which I have here, and I need to prepare our mugs before we press it. So I'm just going to quickly get these hearts onto here so I can place them in a baggie later. Just don't want to lose them. Let me get my tweezers. Okay, so first thing we're going to prepare our mug. So whether you're using a Cricut mug or a sublimation mug, even though these come wrapped in plastic, we still need to prepare, clean them, and make sure there's no lint or fuzzies that could affect our design, right? So this here, the first thing I'm going to do is take alcohol and spray it on a lint-free cloth. And I'm just going to rub around my mug. Okay. And the next thing we want to do, and when you're working here, you want to make sure you didn't leave any of your infusible ink pieces that could get in the way. Then you want to take your lint roller and just go over the side with your lint roller. Okay, so now I'm just going to take my design and stick it on the mug. And make sure that you get as many air bubbles. You want it as pressed flat to the mug as you can get. Okay, so try to work out some of those bubbles with your fingers. The more that you have this image pressed as tight against the mug, the better your design will be. This out of the way. Let me move my press over, and we'll need to heat this up. So make sure that you put your mug press on a heat resistant surface. This is a glass tray that I have. Make sure you can see it okay. And then also make sure you have a heat resistant mat to place your mug on when it comes out from the heat. I've got it plugged in. I'm just going to turn it on. It will beep when it's ready to insert the mug. Okay, so we're going to lift up the lever. That will let us room to put our mug straight down. I like to put it down at an angle and then try to keep your handle in the middle when you put this down. This is what clamps your mug into place. So just as long as you keep your hand on the handle, everything will be fine. Just don't touch the inside part. Okay, so I'm going to put it down in and just guide it down. And I'm going to hold the handle while I press down. And it immediately starts the heating process. When it's done, it will beep. I will take it out and I'll put it on my heat resistant mat. Okay, so it's beeping, and that took 5 minutes and 37 seconds. Plus, it took me about 45 seconds for me to grab my phone and start my timer. So that's about how long it takes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and power this off. And we're gonna lift the handle. Now remember, the white handle is not hot, so you just carefully tuck your fingers in there and lift up your mug and place your design on your heat resistant mat so you can see what it looks like before. I'm going to allow this to cool about 10 minutes and I will be back so we can take a look at our design. So what I'm doing is using my X-Acto knife to just barely get under that tape. I'm not scratching the mug by any means. It's just enough for me to separate the tape from the mug. And I had put these tapes on just to be extra secure. It looks like I didn't need to do it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry and have a successful design. Oh, how cute. That is so cute. Oh, I just love it. Came out perfect. Perfectly imperfect. So it's still a little warm, so I'm still being careful, but and there we go. So cute. That is just darling. So no matter which way you look at it, you've got a rainbow and it's a different rainbow. Nice patriotic rainbow. Hopefully that's not too much glare for you. There we go. All right. Remember to create with love. Bye.